I think I'm generally optimistic, and I think I was born an optimist. And in a way, I recently was invited by an organization called a Center of Optimism. It's a Melbourne-based organization, and they work a lot with young kids, actually youth in Australia. And they said, Vasyl, why don't you come to a conference and talk to Australian high school kids from, it was an area in northern part of Victoria, where kids don't get enough of what they can get in Melbourne, and they were brought into the Victorian Parliament, and they had a 1 day of sessional leadership, and that was all organized by the Center of Optimism. And there is a guy called Victor Purton who founded it about, 20 years ago or something. And he said, Vasyl, come and talk to students. And I was like, Victor, what is that Center of Optimism? And he said, I'm a true believer in optimism because I believe this is what's driving people. And I said, Victor, you won't believe it, but I really want to start a chapter in Ukraine for the Center of Optimism because I really believe, because this is a way how you can really survive. I mean, at the end of the day, if you believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, this is what keeps you going. A key message is, of course, for a wider audience of all those who are in international education. I think this is we live in such a globalized world that at the end of the day, it's all about international education. And I think that international education has been driving globalization. This is how companies starting trading and then traveling and learning more about other cultures. It's all kind of all intertwined and interconnected. And international education is a foundation of all of that, because it all starts with that education, but often, international education starts with a foreign language. You learn Spanish, you want to go to Spain to study there, spend some time. You learn Mandarin, you go to China. You study China, you get interested in China, and the way back, right? So it really works both ways, and language is an open door. The key message for that I made, I would welcome more Ukrainian students here who would come and study, because they could then be this citizen diplomats representing Ukraine, but also the knowledge they're going to gain here, they will be able to put it to use when they go back to Ukraine, and that will be a major impact on Ukraine. And I think this will become a foundation, for Australia-Ukraine relations, because, like, for instance, I know many friends who studied in the US and Britain, and now they work for American British firms, and they are advancing their interest in Ukraine, but they're also, helping Ukraine. Those companies are employing Ukrainian people, paying taxes, having an impact out there on the development. And I think this is a benefit of international business and globalization, right? And this is really, and international education plays a big part of it. The reason I really believe in transformational power of education was on my personal experience. When I was in high school in the US for 1 year, then later on, whatever I did during undergraduate university studies, I'd done my master's in London. This all had a major impact on me, on my career, on my outlook, on just broadening my horizons, creating new opportunities for me, and really changed my life. And because I've seen it, what an impact it had on me, I really became a big promoter of international education. And though I'm an ambassador of Ukraine, I'm happy to become an ambassador of international education. I would encourage Australian universities and all those who can to reach out to Ukrainian universities and to actually seek applications from the Ukrainian professors who could come here on fellowship, spend a semester, spend a year by researching, maybe doing a little bit of lecturing, and actually experiencing your academic environment. I think that will be a great benefit for them. For their families, so they have young kids, for instance, those kids could go to a high school here and learn English. And also that would really be very helpful for Ukraine. But also I would welcome more Ukrainian students who could come here on scholarships, and there could be some private scholarships, some university scholarships, some state awarded scholarships, different ways. But also, at the end of the day, when we will be rebuilding the country, I would like to see Australian people, just regular people, who can come and become volunteers and spend like a semester or a year teaching English at high school or university. Or actually, there's this famous American Peace Corps volunteer program, which was launched by President Kennedy. And you get Americans who come for 2 years, and they help businesses. They also work at schools. So maybe we could start something similar, where we'll have Australians who will come on a 1 or 2 year program to Ukraine. Will be supported partly by government, but could be also corporates. But they could be helping a small business, or helping a big business, or they could be teaching, or they could be just out there, and helping startups to go global. So there are so many different ways depending on your skills and your expertise. And I would be more than welcome to come and brainstorm those together, and be happy to support anything of that sort.